inside of the Saints. Loading.
It is not just a case of physical attraction. I admire her mind, too.
What's up, Saints? This is your host, DeJounte, and your co-host,
Stephen Go.
and you are watching episode 9 of Insights of the Saints. Wait, is it episode 9?
It is.
Okay, I was just making sure, we had took a little break. Life's getting a little hectic sometimes, school, work, just life. But if you have not watched any of the past episodes, please go back and watch. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And by the time you see this, the clips and TikToks will be out. So please go follow that, like that, support that. Um, Also special shout outs. You always gotta shout out, special people who support. First of all, God. Without God, this wouldn't even be a thing. This wouldn't even be happening. Of course, you always gotta shout out Pastor Jack, the pastor and the overseer of this house. But special shout outs also go to our friends, Creston, our friend, my friend Charles, my best friend Sanaya, my mom, everybody. So whoever supports, whoever, wants to be shouted out in the next video, just show your support and we'll be sure to, just keep you in mind. We never forget our supporters, especially starting out now, having so little. We try to be as intimate and as close with our supporters as possible. Any new updates? Writing, anything.
Yes, so far we have gotten a lot of things taken care of. We're just structuring our schedule. Would you say that we've been pretty organized?
So yeah, I'm talking about you for more so writing. I've been trying. It's week kind of been hard. It's the week before spring break, so test and all that other stuff. College is so terrible. Like I don't understand the point of it. I think I pay my money for nothing.
It is a system that I cannot see myself in anymore.
Look, he says it's a scam.
But I am in college right now too, doing some classes for real estate.
But I don't consider that college though. I think that's more like a trade.
It is a trade. However, I have to go to college to get certified.
You do?
Yeah. That's
Bro,
what I'm doing right
that's
now.
crazy word.
Or to get
Also, please, Coke, sponsor me. I love Coke. Not like that though. Not the drug. Not wait. You know what's crazy? I think they actually put Coke in it.
to the history of before, yeah.
That may be why I'm addicted.
Past.
That may be why I may be, just having little traces of Coke. Like it already being black, it just don't mix with my bloodline. Coke, drugs, it just, like just already being that, like crack in the '80s. Like, come on, like crazy word.
It's all right. You get your daily dose, whatever.
Exactly. You gotta get a daily dose. I can't stop drinking. I can't stop drinking this. I remember I was on my phone with one of my friends like 2 days ago, and I was literally drinking like an empty can, but I didn't care because it was like it was still to me something enough in there, and I just kept drinking. And they were like, "Put the can down." I was like, "I can't." Damn, that's like a druggie. Yeesh. But other than that, if any of y'all did catch that Lakers and Mavs game, that was a great game. I just didn't like the fact that PJ Washington forgot how to play basketball. He just, I don't know. 0 for 10 in 35 minutes is outrageous. Like, not even 2 points. And then the amount of layups we missed, yeah, I'm telling you, bro, at this point, I'm just about to stop watching sports. I told y'all in the last episode, I'm going to FIFA, Mbappe, Ronaldo. I'm just naming random players at this point. I'm a soccer fan. But today, we will be talking about the importance of revelations and also what is revelation. So, Steven, usually I'm, starting off, but I want to see, like, what do you think it is?
All right. Revelation.
Yeah, like, let's hear your insights. They always hear me yapping. What's your insights?
Okay, so what I see in Revelation
Mm-hmm.
is specifically about the things that happen every day. However, we're not there to we're not there to expect a reward from it. The reward is actually to it's hard to explain actually. It's one of the
Yeah,
difficult things.
Revelations is very difficult, and the reason why I would say it's very difficult to explain is because there's so many facets connected to it. I mean, you got to think like without revelation, we don't get Jesus. And I'm not talking about the book. I'm talking about revelation from God, just being able to get knowledge that you don't have or that you didn't already learn from God Himself. I mean, you got to think one of the biggest revelations in the Bible is the fourth coming of Jesus. That's so big because it's basically the basis and foundation of our Bible. That there's a man coming who is full God but still full man, who's coming and he's not sinful to redeem us. Like that, I think that's like one of the, if not the biggest revelation of our whole book. But I think that it's so important because it gives us hope. Like you gotta think, without that revelation, we don't have hope because our thing is we don't have a savior. So now we're still following our own works. But because of that revelation, we were able to create a message that showed people that there's an escape from a situation that you were that you were bound to, that damned you to a place that you should have never even had to experience.
That's true. I have one thing to add,
Mm-hmm.
especially what you just mentioned, is that before I ever heard the gospel, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Revelation is definitely not going to be something that I'm looking forward to or to or up to attain. But I realize after the gospel and knowing that that's the foundation of our existence, I can always look back. Today I was thinking about this actually, about the past.
Mm-hmm.
We can learn more from the past than the unknown future. And the reason why I say that is because our past choices does affect our future, whether we know that or want to accept that or not.
Yeah. I mean, because it's always that old saying that says, "Oh, like the past repeats itself," but in a way, it kind of does. In a way, like when you think about all the things that happens, like nothing, like God said, nothing is new under the sun. Like we're just repeating the same things, just in more ways that are suitable to the time frame that we live in.
And exactly, that's something that you and I always make a joke about, especially when we talk about plotting
Mm-hmm.
and getting our mind set before the grand event takes place.
Mm-hmm.
We've always counted all the variables. Usually, I've noticed that when things don't go right, you and I said, I didn't. Where did that variable come from?
Yeah, but see, that's the thing about revelation is the fact that when you have revelation from God, is more so annoying because you're getting this direct information from God Himself. And I think that that's so important, especially for Christians, because most of our life, especially as Christians, is based off of revelation. Because we don't necessarily see these things or know these things take place. I mean, most of us are coming from the world to God. So you gotta think there's so many things of God or about God that we don't know. So him being able to give us those revelations and manifest himself in a way that we can understand and know him allows us to truly bring heaven to earth. Because those revelations give us a guidance and an insight on how to properly navigate and what to do. I mean, you gotta think if we don't get those revelations, it's not much we can do for the kingdom because it's not much that we know. Like to everybody, like to him, it's already known knowledge. But for us, it's being able to communicate and stay connected to be able to get that knowledge. Like when I looked at everybody in the Bible who was getting major revelations from God, they were all connected to him. They all had their own personal relationship where they were contacting him directly, or there was someone who was connected to him who was giving it to somebody else. I mean, you gotta think. Revelation still happens today. Like every time we meet an unbeliever, and we tell them about God, about the gospel, that's a revelation to them because they don't know. So it's like they're
That's
getting a revelation through us because of knowledge that has been revealed to us through from God, and we're revealing it to them. So I think that's one of the main importance of revelation is the fact that we have to share it because the knowledge just isn't for you; it's for everybody who doesn't know around you.
that's one thing I've thought about this week is that we do have value,
Hmm.
and well, that is exactly right. The revelation that is held or the truth, and therefore one or the soul or God's creation honors and respects the the things of his being or makes the makeup of his being.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So that is my view on Revelation. That it is valuable.
Well, yeah. I mean, we already know revelation is valuable, but I think it's more so like how is it valuable to us today? Because like, I really don't see many of us using revelation. Like, what I mean by using a revelation is like I don't think it's something that we strive for. I
No,
think we
that's
strive
exactly.
more for the appearance of looking holy
That's right.
rather than trying to live a lifestyle that gives us the ability to be inside the mind of God.
And that's the word. The word I said. It's caricature,
Hmm.
things from the outside, and imitation. It's basically the word caricature is about imitation, and then imitation of exactly what you said, of anything that is pure, perfect, and, and that's used according to the standards of the appearance of what man expects.
Now, I want to bring this verse up. It's in Ephesians chapter 1, verse 17 through 19. So we're going to like go by verse, but I want to show you this. So let me scroll back up. It says, that the God of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of glory, may give unto you the spirit of wisdom and revelation in him in the knowledge of him. So we see that part of the whole purpose of giving you this revelation is for you to get to know him better. And I think that the more that we know God, the more that we can know how to serve him. Because it's hard to serve a person you don't know. I mean, part of revelation gives you the guidance on how to be of service to God, because every person that we see in the Bible who's gotten revelation, they were able to serve God with it because they had a clear and direct view on what they could be and what they can do in the kingdom. So that's why I feel like we have to focus more on how to grasp revelation from God, because I don't think we'll be as lost. I don't think we'll be as stuck in our walk if we know what to do with it. Like many times I see like we almost run dry as Christians because the lack of revelations that we get. And trust me, trying to live a life or trying to live a Christian life, especially without revelation from God, is hard
It is.
because you don't have that refresh. You don't have that knowledge that you're gaining. And like when you gain more knowledge, you're not able to just know more, but you're able to do more. And part of knowledge and part of this word is not about just knowing it, but about doing it. That's why God says, don't be, hearers or, readers of the word, but be doers of it. Because part of this walk is to actually do what's being told.
Wow. And that is the revelation. It's at times it's encouraging us to do something with what we know.
Hmm.
And that's something that I've seen where I am actually stagnant when I just ignore something that I know,
Hmm.
specifically know. And that is the other question. Oh, it'll probably be a question after this comment. Um, but I do uh, get an urge to, or I get upset or frustrated
Hmm.
whenever I'm stagnant,
Hmm.
and that within that given situation, I do have a word to say, but usually when I keep quiet, that's when I know something is wrong due to the fact that our words do have power, and if I choose to keep silent, I ruin uh, the opportunity or somebody's opportunity to gain that revelation.
Yeah, which is which is kind of like why sharing the gospel is so important. That's why God tells us to go out and share and talk about it, not because it's a work, not because He wants to see how how much do we love Him. I mean, that's a part of it, but it's more so because the revelations that you don't share doesn't open somebody's eyes, because it says that the eyes under your understanding begin to be enlightened. That's the verse after that. So think about it. Once you gain this wisdom, you begin to be enlightened. It's like another eye opens. Well, think about it. That person's eyes are closed. So if I don't give them this same light, then they still live in that same darkness. Mm-hmm. So it's like God calls us to love people, right? Love is an action, as we talked about briefly in episode 1. So if I'm called to love people, the greatest thing I can do to really love a person is share the revelations that won't keep them in the dark. I think it could be crazy to say how much I love people, but I'm not willing to get them out of a situation or a dark situation knowing I have a key. It's like keeping someone in a cage knowing I can let them out, but then saying, oh yeah, I love that person. Well, how? You won't even do something to actually help them get out of a place they're trapped. So I think it's funny to me how we always say that we love people and how much we care about people, but we'll literally have knowledge that can help them out of their situation, but won't say anything. And I think that that's one of the importance of revelations in itself, is the fact that as we see in the Bible, when God would use people who had great revelations, like I was saying, you need revelations because revelations help bring other people to the light. I mean, you got to think, every time somebody used revelation in the Bible, especially like when it came to the gospel, especially when it came to, Moses saying, let my people go, like all these revelations helped people. So we see that revelations necessarily wasn't just for us to know, but it was to help someone else. And
wow, that's good.
And then as we read the second part of verse 18, it says that ye may know what is the hope of his calling. So we see that in revelations, in knowing revelation, there's a calling in it. So there's a specific duty that's supposed to be done with that revelation. And that's so important because that gives us guidance. That gives us a purpose. I mean, our whole life is about purpose. Our whole life is about being able to come here and be of service to God in some way, shape, or form of capacity. And not even just about being of service to God, but being of service to others. I mean, I always tell people this, and this is something that I love to talk about, is the fact that the biggest gift or the biggest currency that you could do to God is be a servant. And the reason why I say it is because it impacts everybody.
It does.
Like think about it. The richest people in the world, right? Whether they're Christians or not, they're all in service industries. Think about Elon Musk, right? He's in service industry. He creates cars, Tesla. He owns it. That's a transportation. Think about Jeff Bezos, Amazon. That's shipping and goods.
Logistics.
That you need that. Think about Microsoft, computer, technology. Logistics. You need that. But all of these things service people.
They do.
We need technology. We use technology every day. Matter of fact, this HP right here, Microsoft, right? Like, yeah, I think it uses Microsoft. Yes, it uses Microsoft. We're using this HP right now. That's service. So it's like when God revealed that to me, it showed me a different part of how, like, everything that most of the things that God calls us to do, if not everything, is about a service. It's about what you can produce, what you can provide. So I think that that's very important in Revelation, that it explains for his calling, because it shows that there's a responsibility to serve and do something about it with others once you get it.
And there's always something to do.
Yeah.
As we speak.
I mean, there's always something to do. That's why I'm always telling Steven that, he always asks me, like, does you ever get tired? You ever get complacent? I'm like, not really, because there's always something to do. I mean, I think of my life as something like I rest when I'm dead. Like, I retire when I'm dead. I don't believe in retirement. The reason why I don't necessarily believe in retirement is because the fact that I still have breath in my body, the fact that God still woke me up, that means there's still something that he wants me to do. Because if my job was done, I'd be dead. So I retire when, he let me sleep for real. And I don't wake back up. Yep. But then to go back to the last part of that verse, it says, and what the riches of his glory of his the riches and what the riches of the glory of his inheritance in the saints. They got to think the saints is us, not just insights like the saints, of course, but the saints are all the people that believe, Christians like that. There's an inheritance tied to it. So that means that there's something that you receive from this revelation that benefits you as well. So not only is it about the service that you can provide with it, but it's about the inheritance and the benefit that also comes to you for it. I mean, think about how much of a benefit it was that John was able to see the revelation of Christ. That showed him that what he was following, what he was reading, what he had knew was true. I mean, think about Moses when he was revealed that he'll be able to go and like save the Israelites.
Exactly.
That
Just
showed
one
that
man.
what he was saying was true. It benefited him because he was an Israelite. He was a Jew, so he was free,
and his people.
and his people was free. So I think that sometimes in Revelations we miss the importance because we think it's just getting knowledge from God, but it's more than that.
Nice. That's one thing that I want to mention is that we think that the gospel was. This is some other topic we're going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But was the gospel directly to you, or was it for everyone?
The gospel was for everyone, and it's directed to you to show you have salvation, but it's literally for everyone. I mean, even though God chose a specific race of people to bring it through, it was his goal was still for everyone. And he talks about that even in Isaiah, even in Hosea. He talks about the fact that this was for everybody. So I think that we can't miss that part because that's the important part because that's where it starts to become exclusive and more in not inclusive. And it's supposed to be inclusive because it's supposed to include everybody. And the more we start excluding people and telling people salvation isn't for them or salvation wasn't for this, we start taking away the true meaning of the gospel, which is about us being in one body under Christ.
Correct. It's not
We're in
divided.
Christ. That's not divided.
And
that's
we
one unit.
Yep. And the reason why I asked that question is that there's a lot of Christians that have different sects that say that the one is greater than the other and so forth, and they get one is spiritual, one is more spiritual than the other.
I don't think. That's the thing. When it comes to sex or like the little
divisions,
divisions in Christianity, denominations, whatever, I don't think that one is more important than the other. I think that they all, or at least the ones that do speak the truth, they all have, especially ones that do speak the truth, they all have some part of Christianity that I think that we miss. Like, for instance, right, Catholics, right? We know that sometimes, like, they go a little bit far off, but one of the things that they do very well when it comes to that is knowing how to use the spirit to cast out demons, which is talked about in the Bible. God never said that once he left casting out demons, healing the sick, healing this, and then gone. He said it would do it through you. And they actually continue to do that. And I don't see many other churches outside of them do that, which is crazy because that's one of the things with having the Holy Spirit we're supposed to do. Because there's still people walking around, with demons and them possessed. So who's going to cast them out if somebody believes that what God revealed to us is no longer true?
That's right. Because there's sometimes I've seen.
Then you got people like one of the denominations that I've been to for a while is Baptist. We believe in, free will, and we believe in grace, and we believe in the fact that you can choose for salvation and that it's eternal security. But think about that. Some cultures don't believe in that, or some not cultures, but some denominations or whatever, they don't believe in that. Well, that's a major part because you got to think that's the whole basis of what we believe is the fact that he died on the cross, and we have the choice to choose it, and then once we choose it, it can never be taken away.
That's what I meant. The full revelation is that I believe wholeheartedly the full revelation has been revealed. That's why we have from Genesis to Revelation revealed, and nothing is hidden. It's only for. I meant to say it's only when we choose to limit our abilities to see that revelation or to adhere to it.
What's the thing? Some things are hidden because God does hide certain things. Like in the Bible talks about, let me go to it really quickly.
I agree. He does hide it when we don't have uh, a need for that specific. Um, I can say like there is times when we would want something, however, we can't handle the truth, if that makes sense.
Oh, I'm still looking for the verse.
Okay.
But you can continue. I'm listening. I'm just trying to get this
So
real
I'm
quick.
saying at times I'm trying to put it to words right here. It's that the truth as I live my life as a 20-year-old, super, uh, it's confusing. And you know it as a 20-year-old, everything does not line up. Every year is a new trend, fad. It's
Being 20 kind of crazy. Sometimes I'd be like, wow, I'm really 20.
no, everything can change in 1 year or in a day and so forth.
Facts.
What knowledge you had and you think you can grasp, you can't. Uh, Everything changes. The people you think that their emotions, your job, uh, the not just the economy, but the social construct. You can't keep up with that TikTok stuff. um, what is relevant and so forth. So now I'm at this point where I realize that I got to be more fixed, and I'm asking the Lord to show me what is, how can I handle situations when I realize that the Lord has given us uh, the foundation of the revelation. Because I know what you're trying to say about the things that are hidden.
But this is the thing. God hides things for us, and it's more so like they're specific.
That's what
Like
I'm trying to
there's
say.
certain things
Yes,
that are hidden
it's
for
not
certain people based on what their calling is.
correct.
Like the treasures and like the certain revelations for a prophet wouldn't be given to me. I'm not a prophet. But then the revelations that I need as a teacher to help teach people and help to get people to where they need to be, there will there's certain things that I get. So there's certain things that are given and revealed and that are hidden for certain people.
Hmm. Okay.
So it's like part of that. So it's like part of why that is important is because it shows that you know this is why we need revelations because some revelations are specific to our calling and our lives. So some things and some revelations and some knowledge is hidden that you have to go get and obtain so that you can walk farther in your calling. So if you just rely solely on just getting the revelations from the Bible, well, yeah, that's cool. But one of the things that I learned is that the Bible isn't specific for my life; it's general for all lives. But the things that are specific for my life, I
It's
need to be in communication with God so it can be revealed to me. Because the Bible is only going to tell me so much. It's like a code of conduct. It's going to tell me how to live my life in order. It's going to give me structure. It's going to give me a foundation. But outside of that, it's giving me the instructions on how to go get the real meat that I need for me from God. Because everybody needs something different. All of our callings and all of our
is unique.
um and all of our gifts are unique to us. Like
Hmm.
my gifts are not the same as your gifts. Your gifts are not the same as my gifts. So you have to go to God and ask different things for you than I would for him from him. Because the fact of it's all specific to how God wants to direct our lives. So it's like when certain things are hidden from God or like hidden from other people from God, it may be for somebody else. But that doesn't mean that God is hiding because he doesn't want you to know. But it's because just how things are hidden for that person, things are also hidden for the other person.
That's right.
So it's like it's more of like a way of like specification. Like I say, it's like everything is specific to certain people. Like certain, like not all people are gonna get the same revelations, but not all people are called to do the same thing with the revelations that they get. So I think that that's kind of cool in a way because it shows that our individuality, how we all have a different task and how we all have a different purpose. I mean, you gotta think we're called the body of Christ. We're all not the same body parts. Some people with toes, some people with feet, some people with eyeballs, some people with shoulders. Some people something, but everybody has a distinct purpose and a distinct work for the body part that they're in. So I think that that's kind of cool, and I think that that's another reason why I want to harp so much on Revelations this episode is because we have to get to a point where we're searching for it. I don't feel like we search for it enough. And since Revelations are one of the biggest ways that God communicated how He wanted the world to look. Especially, oh yeah, the end. Thank you. That's why revelations are so important, is because, like, you gotta think about it. In these end times, and in these, and especially towards the end, we have to be in these revelations in order to help people. Because now we're getting to the point, since we're getting to the end times and we're getting to the point of Jesus' return, we're supposed to be ministering unto people and getting more people to see the light. Because there's going to be a point in time where
there won't be other light.
Like there won't be anything else. Like there won't be, like, the presence of God won't be here. So it won't be no more salvation through grace. It won't be no more, well, now you just got to believe. No, that's gone. So I think that the revelations that we get in this hour specifically is so great, because not only do we have a book that gives us a whole instruction guide on how to get it, but now we have so much to do because we're getting close to the end.
And that means that we're going to go back to the jungle mindset. In the days of Noah, they said that in scripture, it says that they had vanity in mind.
I mean, it was just nothing. It was just void. That's right. If you think about it like that, I think we've already gotten there. If you look at people's minds and their actions today, everybody does things for pleasure. Nothing is done with actual thought.
So this is where I'm at right here. Where I had a revelation on this. Like, I just used that word. However, it's instant gratification, and therefore anything that is worth having will never be obtained, due to the fact that we are conditioned to be satisfied with the minuscule of pleasure. And that's why we're all facing our own demise when we choose instant gratification.
True. Because you got to think, nothing in God has ever been instant. If you think of everybody that actually obtained something great in God, it was all in stages. Sometimes it was always delayed. You got to think, David was called to be a king at 15. He can become a king until he was like in his 40s. So you got to think, it's like a 30-some, 20-some year gap.
Of hard work.
He had to go through being a shepherd. He had to go through being a harp player. He had to go through being a warrior.
And he also had to be a mercenary to run away from Saul.
Yeah, like, there were so many things he had to go through, but you got to think, like, that's delayed gratification, because what he knew he was going to become didn't happen for years. He's probably waiting, like, when am I going to be king? Like, when am I, like when is it my turn?
And he was actually, the greatest thing too is that the prophet Samuel actually came to him when he was a teenager.
Yeah.
So now he's like, all right, is this prophet lying, or is he coming?
Facts. Like at this point, he's probably like, okay, am I really going to be king, or was he just trolling me? Because it's like, at this point, I've been waiting for years.
It needs your revelation when we make these jokes that life be trolling.
No, life definitely do be trolling. God has a funny way of being ironic. And, like, sometimes it's like, okay, it's funny, but it's not funny no more. Like, it's like the joke was joking, but it's not funny no more. You gotta chill. It's not. You may be laughing up there, and that's great, but I'm not. Like, I'm suffering, low key. Matter of fact, not just low key, high key. I'm suffering. Like, chill.
So sometimes when I wake up, I said, "This is not fun anymore."
No, it's not. And it's just like, and I don't get it, because it's like he really be trolling. It's like, to him, it's like a game, and I'm like, it's not a game anymore.
But then when we overcome or conquer those little obstacles, like, I'm ready for this game again.
Exactly. I'd be like, okay, I'm tapped in. I'm locked in now. We good.
Because the reward is greater.
The reward is greater.
I like how we just we gripe and we fret and all that. And that's like, to this morning, I didn't want to wake up to go to work. But then when I was at work, I realized, man, I thought this was not fun, but at the same time, nobody does the work that I'm doing, because I'm a lead, and therefore God put me in that position for a short amount of time. And if you're watching this, I'm already gone from that job, because I already have another job lined up. But
excuse me.
but therefore we're
By the
called.
time they be watching this, you probably will be at the other job.
No, I'll be in that new position.
You
Which
probably will be.
so yeah, everything happens for a reason,
Facts.
and and that's one thing God has called me. I think from episode 1, you said I have many jobs.
No, he do. Like I ain't gonna lie, he's like he go through jobs like clothes. Like the moment he feel like it's another like something, it's not even because like he's a bad worker. He just wants to obtain so many skills. So the moment there's a job where he can learn a new skill, he's like, okay, I'm there.
I have a neighbor I grew up with,
Mhm.
childhood friend. His girlfriend asked, he said, "What does Steven do and what is he doing now?" And my friend answered, "If you're watching this, Noah Guzman, here it is. You have finally seen the episode about this." And he said this. He said, "What a wise man. He's a believer.
Mhm.
I'm grateful, and we had an opportunity to witness to him um, before I left and came to Ohio 4 years ago. And the greatest thing is that uh, I'll be riding with him this season, this year. However, when he replied to his girlfriend, he said this. He said, 'What doesn't Steven do?'"
Facts. What don't you do? Like I gotta think about it. What don't you do?
Okay, if you want to hear this, and everybody listen up, what I do not do and what I don't have the opportunity right now is to obtain the field of art. Surprising enough, I am not that artistic. Maybe with
Me either. I can't draw for
okay,
nothing. I remember in high school, I used to fail art. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, my mom out here can vouch. Mom, if you're watching this, please comment. I used to fail art. It got to a point where my mom was like very strict with grades. For some reason, like grades mattered to her so much. So for her, I had to get A's or B's. C's were unacceptable. Math, like art was the only place where she's like, you know what, I'll accept a C. Because when I say my art skills were terrible, like I could barely draw a stick figure
mhm.
and it looked presentable.
But it was great in your head.
That's in
That's
my
something.
mind.
That's something about. That's what I have too. I can appreciate art in
Yeah.
my mind. I have an imagination, but when it comes out into
Yeah.
uh, the the tangible, which is this, yeah, it doesn't line up. However,
When it comes with words, I'm cool though.
yeah,
Like
same here.
like when it comes to like talking and speaking, great. But you want me to draw something? You might as well shoot me.
I agree. Okay, might as well. This episode is going to be kind of long, but we're going to talk about revelation. We're talking about imagery and stuff like that in art. Okay, this is my future, and I've been thinking about this, and I was going to tell you this, but we're going to do it on. Well, it's live, so it doesn't matter because we have a normal conversation now. Okay, so Dejante. So basically, I want to have.
Oh God. Go ahead.
All right.
Mhm.
Since I don't obtain these skills,
Now I want you to know this is not getting egged out. So whatever you say, I'm letting it rock. Just putting that out there. Go ahead.
all right. Whoever's watching, then enjoy the what do you call these Stevens rants or whatever.
Fact. I'm just saying because usually when usually okay, y'all. Like let me brace y'all. When we be on the phone and he starts saying, "Now, Dejounte, listen, I know right thing is gonna be some bull." He gonna say something, and I'm gonna be like, "Bro, what are you talking about?" So go ahead. I'm ready.
All right. So since I don't have
Mhm.
the art skill,
Mhm.
I made it my ultimate goal for my future generation. They will not do business. They will not do anything that I have attained. They
Mhm.
would just focus on music. We got one playing all the wind instruments,
Uh huh.
the string instruments. They have a voice, and uh, what else? They can draw. They
Uh
can
huh.
make murals or whatever. I'll get them whatever instrument they want that they can even imagine. So thank you for asking that question. Like, what don't I do? My future generation will continue that. Um, all my flaws.
So basically, for all my people out there who couldn't understand that, basically it's like when you couldn't hoop and like you couldn't make the basketball team because you was trash. I'm talking about you just like broke jumper, whack jumper. Basically, he's saying that he's going to try to live through his children. So, Steven's future children, if you're ever watching this, nephew and niece, I'm sorry that you have to go through all of these heinous acts and crimes trying to draw. Maybe you can't. Maybe you like me and can't put pen on paper, but he's forcing you. Think about that. He just told you he's going to force his children.
I didn't say force. I said they get choice. They got a choice.
No, you did not say choice. You said they're going to. Now you see, he's trying to clear it up because he want to get canceled for child abuse.
Non-existent children.
Yeah. Okay. Didn't you say you wanted children by the end of this year?
That's right. So that happens. Blessing from God.
You don't even have a girlfriend yet. First of all, we gotta get on that first. Let's worry about girlfriend, wife, then kids. We gotta go through this in steps.
God works miracles.
Yeah, you're right. Because if you get one, it would definitely be a miracle. I'd be like, wow, he did. You gotta understand. I don't say that because he can't. I say that because Steven doesn't date. So if he gets a girlfriend, it's going to be a miracle. Because how? He doesn't date. He doesn't even like to date.
No.
He'll talk to a girl for a day and he'd be like, I can't. She's just, I just don't know. I just don't like it. Like, she was cool, but then she said something and I was just like, get away. I'd be like, bro, what did she say? I don't know. It's just like her mind, like she couldn't understand words. What do you mean she didn't understand words? She couldn't speak English? No. Like I said a word and she was like, huh? And I was like, you're dumb. I'm like, what? It'd be wild. It'd be wild. Like, whoever your dream girl is or whoever she will be, she probably gotta be the smartest woman on the planet.
Or she has to be mute. I'm kidding.
No, we're not. We're going there. We're going there. Let me tell you. No. Oh, so let me tell you. Anyway, we're on the phone.
Okay, wait. Where was I?
He was at like Panera Bread or something.
No. I was in California.
Wait, no, he was in California, but you was at like Panera Bread or something, right?
No, I was at.
Where are you at? You were at like a coffee shop or something. Donuts. Yeah, he was like a Dunkin' Donuts. So he calls me. He's like, bro, I had the craziest revelation. I'm thinking he talk about God or something. He said, bro, it was this man and he had like so much game. And I'm like, okay, like how can his game work? And he was like, bro, when he was talking to this woman, the best thing about that woman was, he's like, I need me a woman like this. I'm like, what? He said she was deaf and she was mute. Was she blind and mute or deaf and mute?
Deaf and mute.
He was like, she was deaf and she was mute.
This is something that just happened. I never seen this ever in my life, so I had to call DeJounte about this.
He was like, she was deaf and she was mute, and I finally understood his vision. Like, that makes so much sense. She can't get on your nerves, and then it's like she can't do anything except for just agree. I'm like, bro. And then he was like, and then think about it. She tries to argue with you. She can't say anything. I'm like, you called me to tell me that the best woman is a deaf and mute one. Get off my phone. What? So now if he gets canceled, it's not on me. Cancel him, not me. Don't cancel me.
Well, that was a good scene. And that just played in my mind. I was like, okay, so what was the variables there? I just saw it.
Because he's trying to figure out how is this woman just so calm and submissive and nice. Yeah. She was very calm. And he's like, bro, the craziest thing about it was she was deaf and mute. He was like, this is genius. I'm like, so you went from telling me you wanted a woman in the psych ward to now you want someone deaf.
What woman in the psych ward?
No. We're not. No, now you're trying to be delusional, be all delulu. No. The first thing, no. You're trying to be delusional.
Take it back to more.
No, we're going all the way back because the first thing you told me about in the summer, he was like, bro, I think I got it. I'm like, what? He was like, I need me a girl who's in the psych ward. Like, crazy women are cool. I'm like, oh.
Also, background. I've been watching way too much Seinfeld to come to this.
Yeah, bro. I don't know what you've been watching, but bro, might have to stop because it's getting bad. Like it's getting crazy. Where we're supposed to be talking about revelation, but this was a revelation to me.
Was it revelation or was it a nightmare?
At this point, I don't know what it was. Because I'm still stuck on the fact you told me that the best thing you ever found out was that the woman was deaf and mute. And like, basically, that was the wave. Find a woman who's deaf and mute. I'm like, what's the joy in that? His mind works in mysterious ways. I don't know.
I don't know. I like my peace and quiet.
Hey, bro. If that's what you like, bro, that's what you like. But the fact that he called my phone, like, I'm thinking it's something actually like with some substance. He just tells me, bro, she was deaf and she was mute. It was great. I almost hung up the phone.
I was watching it like a TV show just in that scenario. I was like, wow, dang, what's happening here? This is so quiet, but nice.
So you're watching this man talk to this woman.
No, signing.
He was signing. You didn't say that part.
Yeah, you know how to sign.
Oh my God. You didn't even tell me that part. You make it seem like they were having a conversation. He was talking to her.
Yes, signing.
But you didn't say that. You make it seem like he was like talking to her like verbally.
No. How could? Listen, she's deaf.
But she can still read lips.
Nah, dude, not that fast.
Yes, they can. What? All right, now, okay. Now, when these deaf people come for you, and they start cussing you out in sign language, just I'm pointing at him. I'll be like,
that's how I gotta figure.
It was him.
You missed out a part when I was talking to you. I said
you did not say she was signing. You did not say he was signing. You said they was having a conversation. He was raising, and I'm like, how do you know he was raising? He was like, bro, his aura. I'm like, okay, you're glazing. Come on, you're glazing. You're glazing. This is Dunkin' Donuts. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning over there. It's come on, relax. You're glazing. You're glazing. The glaze is crazy. I'm like, but I let you rock.
Definitely. Well, anyways, that was something I've never seen before.
So yeah, any deaf and mute women who may be watching this with subtitles, Steven may fall in love with you. So you may be going. You may got a shot.
Yeah.
Because like when I heard you say that, I was like, bro, what is your type?
I actually wrote it down today.
Yeah, we don't even want to see that. I'm not getting canceled. We're only on episode 10. Wait till we get to like season 3, maybe. Then we can start getting canceled. But this is episode 9. My fault, I said 10, 9. I'm not getting canceled this early. Because the things that come out of your mouth off camera, I'll be like, please don't say that when we're on live. Because I'm not acting that out. I'm all for the clips. Listen, I'm all for the clips. I'm all for
TikTok
for it.
is waiting for this?
It may be. I ain't gonna lie. I'm all for clips. I am all for it. Please don't say nothing that could get clipped. Hey, if anybody watch Twitch, CMB. But anyway.
Yes, let's get back.
Dang, what were we talking about?
Revelation and exactly what.
See, you can got me so off topic. I'm over here zoned out.
No, we're talking about.
Oh yeah, and reminder, I am gonna find that verse because I'm looking for it because I had just read it earlier, but I cannot find it. I don't know where it was, but next episode I'll be sure to make sure I put the verse in there because I want to get that to y'all because, excuse me, when I was doing my studying and when I was like just going through working, it was a verse that I had found that talks about like God hiding things, and it wasn't like hiding things like in a bad way, but God like hiding things, especially for like specific people. Like when it talks about like God hides certain things and you gotta go find it, stuff like that.
We're talking about the. I was the one who mentioned this before we went off topic about. We're talking about the individuals in the past. It took a lifetime to get through.
Facts. Yep. It took a lifetime. So it's like when you're working for something, and we're talking about delayed gratification. Sometimes it's gonna take a lifetime. I think that's pretty good because I think the lifetime creates a long-term appreciation.
Yes, and we will glorify God and realizing, man, this was worth the revelation.
It was worth it. I think that like sometimes we don't value as much today because we get it so quickly. Like when you I think we see a lot of people, especially in certain positions.
We treat life not as a game at all. We treat it as a is a chore.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at right here, because we're right here doing the podcast,
Mhm.
looking at you viewers and every so forth, and letting you know that we're actually very serious about this,
Mhm.
and we're not seeing this as a chore, and we actually have joy while doing it.
Yeah, like this isn't like necessarily a chore. We look forward to this because we understand that there's a long term goal to it. So going through these moments where we have like little viewers or going through moments where like not many people are watching it, I ain't gonna lie, we appreciate it because to us every viewer matters. I remember I was telling Steven about this. I was like, some one of the things that God revealed to me, especially about podcasting, is that every viewer matters. And the reason why every viewer matters is because since we live in the world of instant gratification, everybody looks at something that's monetized as a number. So they view it more mathematically. But one of the ways that God put me and showed me, he was like some, think about, for instance, like one of our videos on TikTok got 1,500 views, right?
Wait, it's in TikTok?
Not TikTok, I mean Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of our videos on there got like 1,500. And I remember when I sing it for the first time, I got happy. And he was like, don't think about the number, think about the people. He was like, you never even preached in a room of 1,500 people. The most I've ever preached in front of was like maybe 100 or close to 100. He said, that's 10 times the amount that you've ever seen in person. You've reached that many people. So when I looked at that as a person and I disassociated like a number from them, the joy and the gratitude that I felt knowing that I reached that many people was more, it felt better than thinking about it like a number. Because thinking about it like a number, I get into this place of instant gratification where I want more views, more this, more that. But when I thought about it like a person, I was okay with knowing that, okay, yeah, that's not as many views everybody else is getting. But I just reached 10 times as many people that I've ever been in a room in front of. So I was grateful. So I think that part of that gratitude and part of that, gratefulness and part of that delayed gratification comes from being able to disassociate unrealistic expectations with realistic outcomes.
That's beautiful. And especially with the content that we are, everything that I'm saying right now, and I know you are saying, that's why I'm saying that, that's why I'm bringing up the topic that when we do this, it's not a chore. It's that we come here with intention.
Yeah.
And the words that's coming out of my mouth, even the jokes that we make, are intentional.
Well, actually, that joke that we came up earlier was not intentional. I did not plan to out you like that. I have forgot, but when you gave an opening, it was all for the clip. I'm not gonna lie, it's all for the clip. It's all for the clip. It's all for the clip.
And we gotta spice things up in this episode.
Actually, you always gotta leave it a little spicy, and a little bit of a little bit of cayenne pepper. I don't know nothing about like real spicy foods. I'm really not a spicy person. But you would know, you got your parents, your mom's Mexican. She probably be throwing all types of spices in there, peppers, all types of things.
Yeah.
Have you ever had cayenne pepper before?
Yeah.
You have?
Ate one, like an actual raw one? No.
I was about to say, bro, you're different, bro. You're wild.
No. I'll be sweating beads.
I was like, bro, you're wild. Hey, you got it.
I'm a different kind of creature.
For sure, you a different breed. If you did that, I ain't gonna lie. I was gonna say respect. I was gonna dap you up. But no, back to what we were saying about delayed gratification and things like that. Like, I just see that I think a lot of us miss that because we're just so focused on outcomes and we want them so instantly. And I think that comes from like also social media too. Like, we see people in short spans of time post their come up, and then we'll be like, well, and this is the thing, they'll post their whole come up, but we'll only pay attention to right before the blow and after the blow. We won't pay attention to the years of content that they made that nobody watched. Mm-hmm. We'll only look at, well, they start gaining followers here, and then by next year, July, they had 1 million. But yeah, they went 4 years with one viewer. Like, think about that. They went 4 years where only 50 of like the same 50 people watched their content. But we only want to look at right before the blow and when the blow happens. And I think that that's part or due to like social media, because we see things so fastly and we lose sight.
Like the crypto or stock market. Like that is literally the currency nowadays when it comes to the trend,
Mm-hmm.
the trending pages. It's social currency in a way.
Yeah.
Literally, it is currency.
I don't know. It's just like I think like everybody wants things too fast, and like if they allow things to like savor and like come in due time, they'll actually be ready for it. I think like part of the reason why God allows us to wait is because the building process is what helps you actually learn how to manage. Because every step, every part teaches you something. And if you miss a step, then you miss information that you need for the next. And this is the thing with instant gratification. You get it so fast that you never were taught, so you don't know how to manage. Part of the managing or learning how to manage something comes from doing it. Like I was thinking about like earlier today, I was thinking about like money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you think about how to manage money, like you have like rich people will call it play money. Then you have people who are actually wealthy. People who have play money are people who just get rich. Like it just happened. They didn't really do much to learn how to grow their wealth. It just they just got it, right? Well, the thing about that is, if I just get my wealth, I don't know really how to create it. Neither do I know how to multiply it. So since I can't actually create it, I can't duplicate it. So therefore, I don't know how to manage. Wealthy people, they know how to create, duplicate, and then by creating and duplicating, they learn how to manage in the process.
And still play.
So it's like learning how to learning how to duplicate and learning how to create something teaches you how to manage because you have to go through each process and each step so detailedly in order to recreate it the next that it teaches you, okay, well, this worked here, this is how you move it here, this is how you manage it here, and it teaches you the whole step on how to keep track and how to actually take care of what you're doing. And that's why I think delayed gratification is especially so important today, is because that keeps you understanding how to keep what you have at a level where it can be at a level that it can be taken care of. And that not only taken care of, but also distributed, because that's part of managing is knowing how to give it, who to give it to,
yes,
stuff like that.
And that's exactly what I've been studying up on different what we value as currency, and I'm learning that. So I'll give an update to everybody once I have that.
Oh yeah, don't worry. Like once we learn more about like the things that we're doing, because we do things outside. It's like we do stocks, we do real estate. I've been learning real estate for a while. He's been learning real estate. He's getting into it. Stocks, like trading and stuff like that. Once we start learning how to like really grow and make wealth outside of this, we will be teaching about it. Because part of this is another thing. I feel like part of Christianity lacks is because we think that we're supposed to be like broke, and that irritates me. Because you want to know what's crazy? Jesus was never broke.
Yeah.
Not, and I don't mean he was rich in the spirit. No, he wasn't broke.
That's right.
Like I think people miss this. When he was born, there were 3 kings that were told to follow a star and come to him and give him like chambers or chests of stuff that were called that were like costed a lot. Right? When his father died, they gave it to his uncle because his uncle was rich. And since his uncle was rich, they gave it to the uncle. He took care of it for them.
Again, he came from the lineage of David.
Facts.
So obviously, I don't think that wealth went away.
Facts. I mean, yeah, Solomon had that. Solomon had that dough. Solomon had that. Solomon had the duffel. He had the big duffel bags.
He said, "I'm ready for you, Jesus. Like exactly. When you come through."
Bags. He like Solomon. Solomon had on his back.
Bro, that's a revelation. This is gonna be awesome.
It's like,
dude, I never thought about it that way.
So it's like Jesus was never broke, and because Jesus was like, but this is the reason, and like this is why I bring this up. Because people look at wealth through materials, they thought that because he dressed like a regular person and borrowed things and learned to trade, he was broke. So we go around thinking, I'm going to be poor and be a servant like Jesus. My God wasn't rich, so I don't have to be. Who was broke? Jesus was going around paying his taxes and tithes. Also on top of that, Jesus' ministry was fully funded. Everywhere he went, he had think about I want you to think about this because I don't think we think about it realistically. Jesus rolling with 12 people deep everywhere. Nobody's complaining about food, shelter, where we gonna sleep, where we gonna eat. They ain't praying, asking God, I don't know where I'm gonna sleep tonight. We don't have anywhere to go. No, they eating, drinking the finest of foods, eating, sleeping
Even
good.
The Last Supper was like golden too.
They eating and sleeping. Okay, yeah, they eating and sleeping good. Like they living lavish, but you don't see that because this is the thing. Everybody thought that he was going to come down and be a king, dripped in gold, wearing diamonds, and having robes of silk and things like that. But he dressed as a regular person.
Yep.
It's like today, how you know how many people that you walk past in your life that's probably rich, probably richer than you even think, but because they rode in a regular car, dressed in regular clothes, they didn't have security, you was just like, oh, he's a regular person. But whole time, he could buy you. I'm not even trolling. He could probably buy you. Like he could probably just buy you alone, and nobody would care. But we don't think about that because when we look at someone who's wealthy, we only look at materials. This is the thing. He didn't need to go around looking like a king to be a king. He told people, I am a king. He didn't need materials to show that. He didn't need to show his wealth so people could respect him.
Not only that,
they respected his character.
And also the way that he conducted himself in full authority, saying that he is the way, the truth, and the life.
Exactly.
Literally saying that I am the standard.
Exact facts. Okay. Type. He's saying that I'm him. I'm the standard. I'm the king. I'm all of the above. Forever. He said, I'm the beginning and the end, the Alpha and Omega. Like he's talking his stuff. Like he's doing his big one.
And he says, and I own everything, and I created you.
Facts. He's going around telling people this. And then what's crazy is he dies in a borrowed tomb. He's wearing regular clothes. He's not in a palace. He's living in regular houses. But kings is coming to sit with him.
No, they seek him.
They come to seek him. They coming to sit with him. They coming to talk to him. He going into palaces and the kings are scared. Like, this is what I'm talking about. It's not always about materials, but it's more about character. But back to my first point is the fact that this is why I want to talk about wealth, is because we think that we're not supposed to have it, and then we use Jesus' story out of context about the fact that, oh, well, he was a servant, oh, he didn't have much. Where did it say that? The Bible never said he didn't. No, the Bible never said he lacked. The Bible never said he wasn't abundant.
Or worried.
But the problem is that comes from our view of what wealth is. We see people wearing diamonds, wearing gold, got the gold teeth, got the diamonds in the tooth.
There ain't no teeth. It's all gold at that point.
Facts. Like we see so many material things, so we try to judge God off of that standard when it's like that was never the standard for wealth. God didn't have to flaunt his wealth because his wealth wasn't in what he had in his pockets. The wealth was what he had in his heart. So what he was giving away was his wealth. He was giving you the kingdom. Matter of fact, when he died and then gave you salvation, he gave you access to heavenly inheritance. He was giving you wealth. He had so much wealth, he was giving it away. But since it didn't come in the mindset or since it didn't come in the way you envisioned it, you thought it was...
And you never valued it.
Yeah.
Therefore, you couldn't really see it. And you can't produce anything from it.
Like, you couldn't really see it.
That's right.
So it's like, I think that, and that's why I want to teach about wealth and preach wealth, especially once we obtain wealth and get more wealthy, is because Christians need to understand that abundance is for us. You know, we live in a world where we see wicked people have abundance and we'll be like, how are they getting it? This the thing. If you see a wicked person have abundance and they're keeping it, that means they're using godly principles to manage it. Because managing is all comes from God. So therefore, they have the principles of God and they're using it. It's just they don't live a life that pleases God. But they're using his principles. You want to know what's crazy? So many rich people that don't believe in God read Proverbs more than believers do. And they actually not only read it, but they go out and do what it says. So how are they readers and doers of the word, but we can't be? And this is our faith. Like, this is what we believe. This is what we come to church for, but they apply it more than we do.
Because we don't truly believe in in the right context.
I don't. I
Okay,
think I don't even think just believe in the right context. I think that since we don't go out and do enough, we don't see the results.
I see what you're saying. It does, like you
Like
said,
they go out and do it till they see the results. We would do it, see it's not working, and stop.
because we expect something. We expected something,
Like God
something
says, He'll
miraculous.
bless the work of your hands. They go out and actually do something that can be blessed.
Wow.
So it's like that's why I think that we have to talk about wealth as Christians because having wealth is a big part of Christianity because it's what helps us fund different things. It's what helps give to people. If we don't know how to manage it and we mismanage it and we're afraid of it, God can never use us to use us and act like a and use us as a funnel to bring it through. I feel like most of us as Christians are afraid of being actually wealthy. I feel like most of us would rather be
It's a
poor
lot of work, by
than
the
be
way.
wealthy
People think
because
that,
of the fact of
yeah.
the fear aspect to it because we don't understand it.
I, I had the same revelation today, and I want to mention it just right now. That there is a fear aspect of it.
Let me sure still
So I
record.
want to mention this.
Mhm.
The revelation I had today is that people fear it because it is a different to be in that leadership. Trust me, great wealth comes with great leadership and abilities of manage, not just management, not that lower management. I'm talking about you will be making the final call where this is going to be moved. So what I was thinking about today about the responsibility behind it, it's a lot more work actually than having a regular job being told what to do because at this point you're not being told by any man. You got to depend on
God alone.
God alone, and
Yeah.
and you have to know His voice.
Yeah. Facts. Okay. Facts. You're right. You have to know his voice. I mean, think about it. That's why Solomon, like that's why Solomon, when he went to God, God gave him wealth because he asked for wisdom. And him going to God and ask for wisdom showed God that he wanted to hear my voice. Because the only way that you can get wisdom is from the word. So he wanted God's word more than he wanted wealth. And by wanting God's word more than he wanted wealth, God knew he could instruct him on what to do with it. So that's why I say it's like we have to use these stories in the right context because why are we preaching that our king was broke? Why are we preaching that I want to be poor like my king? My
Broke.
king wasn't broke. My king came. Think about it. My king. Okay, I want you to understand this, and I mean this in the most like I mean this in the most respectful way. God was the perfect baby daddy in the world. Like when I say, I know like yo baby daddy out there, he may or may not be providing for his children, and that's okay. Things it's not okay, but it's like, hey, it's life. But God, think about it. Before Jesus was born, he said, hey, I got a son coming. You gonna follow that star, and by the time you get there, he gonna be born. Hey, yeah, give all that to him. And he lived off that. And it was a lot. Like, and then his uncle was rich. Like, he was born into wealth.
Just looking at that lineage, it just made sense. It comes all the way from the promised land.
But it's like, even though
The
he was
promise.
born into wealth, like he didn't have to he wasn't boastful about it. Like he wasn't showing it off. He wasn't trying to show people like he had
There
money.
wasn't a need
There wasn't a need to.
because
I mean, even when you read the story, you really gotta think about it. He's walking around 12 deep. You never see Mary
no one
pray
does
and
that.
ask God, this your son here, and he ain't got no diapers. So if you would just so kindly just drop us some bread to get us, to go to Lowe's, I mean, like to go to Mark's, go to Walmart, Sam's Club, get some Huggies. It would be nice. Like she didn't have to do that once.
This you're saying that since the Lord came from her womb, therefore He was already provided
Yes,
for.
he was providing for it. When I say God was the best baby daddy in history, I mean it.
That
I
makes
mean
sense.
it. Like, think about it.
So
He
you're
had
telling me,
people travel
bro.
and follow a star to give his son like
So last question I have to ask.
unfathomable amounts of a baby shouldn't have that much dough when he born. I'm being honest.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask another question. So since the Lord is
I want you to think about this. Think about how powerful you have to be to make three kings go and travel to a place that they don't know of.
a creator,
Without guards, without nobody.
no GPS,
No GPS. to go give their wealth to someone who they don't know.
That doesn't exist on
That at this time people are calling a myth or a legend.
Yep.
It's like it would be like if any of y'all ever watched The Last Airbender, it would be like the Avatar.
Okay.
They're following the star to go meet the Avatar. And in their mind, they're probably like, bro, it better be somebody when I get here.
But you know what's the beautiful thing too? You can see in the baby's eye, and I wonder how pure. That's the eyes of God. That's insane, man.
Facts.
That they had to witness.
Facts. Because like think about it, like he was provided for. He had like he rolling 12 deep. I've never seen somebody roll 12 deep and be broke. I'm just being honest. And think about it, they have jobs. They quit their jobs. They're not working.
They realize
like Peter was no longer a fisherman. I think one of them was a tax person.
Wait a second. So you're telling me
they quit their jobs?
You're telling me that they seen the treasures that Jesus already knew, or no, Jesus already had since he was. They saw something that he had.
They saw something so valuable in him that they were like, "I'm willing to leave it all to be with you, because there's something about you that I just can't shake."
That happens, man, especially in this.
And I just think that's so crazy because it's like,
no, I've experienced things like that before.
No, I'm not saying it's crazy like a bad crazy. I'm just saying it's crazy because it's like we have never like look at that story like that. Like I've never heard that preached like that. Like until I heard somebody say it and I looked into it, I was like, wow, like Jesus really wasn't poor. But if you hear preached in church that tell you, oh, Jesus was a servant. Oh, I want to be poor like Jesus. Oh, I want to, like, oh, as long as I got a little bit, because Jesus had a little bit, that's all that matters. And I'd be thinking like,
it's a choice.
Jesus never had a little. And like I said, I keep harping on that because I want you to understand that wealth is always for believers. Wealth was for us. Wealth is created for us. I mean, think about it. God said that I cannot die, that I died so that you can live life and live it more abundantly.
Yep.
So it's like, why do we shortchange ourselves? Like, I feel like we have to stop shortchanging ourselves, and that we have to actually be willing to think above what that standard we set for ourselves could be. Because God said He's willing to do exceedingly above, what we can think, or like whatever measure we could think of, He's willing to do above and greater.
That's His kingdom.
Facts.
His everlasting kingdom. All right, so we will draw to a close.
Yeah, we'll draw to a close. This was a pretty good episode. We learned about revelations, and that revelations are given from God. They're to, first of all, the importance of revelations is to not only give you knowledge that you don't know, but knowledge that gives you guidance on how to help people, especially around you. And also, it gives you a way to serve, knowing how to serve, knowing what you can do with it. And also, that it's given from God, has a calling or responsibility to it. And that it takes relationship with Him to even hear it. Because you're not going to be in relationship. Excuse me. You cannot be in relationship. Hold on, let me make sure I'm saying this right. You okay, wait. Okay, I got it now. Because the cans was messing me up. So basically, you cannot be in relationship with God. Hold on. Because I'm trying to see, am I wording it right? Because it's going to sound weird. It can sound right in my mind, but
I'll correct you. I'm listening.
So basically, it's like this. You cannot be in relationship. Okay. So you can't be in a position where you're not in a relationship with God and then receive revelation. It doesn't work because there's no communication. So you have to be in relationship with Him to receive it. Because in that relationship, that whole purpose of that revelation has a purpose. So we learned about also the fact that it takes relationship as well. Then, we talked about, what else did we talk about? Talked about like delayed gratification.
Yep.
We talked about like wealth and Jesus not being poor. So I think this is a pretty good episode. I like it.
Absolutely.
I think it was a pretty good episode for sure.
Absolutely.
I just had to go back and recap a little bit.
And we talked about love.
We did. Facts, we probably did. But if you make it to this point of the video, if you make it to this point of the video, we will be talking about our last question of the day. So there will probably, most likely, we always say that there will be a topic in larger measure about this question. So if you remember this episode, comment under one of our posts, whether it's YouTube, Instagrams, Facebook, whatever, or comment in the DMs, slide up, say what episode it's from. You will be entering into the giveaway, and when that happens, you may win some money. So hey, you want some bread?
And merch.
Oh, and merch. We do have merch coming out very, very soon. We're working on it. We're
By the
working
time
on
this
it.
comes out, we would have it.
Yeah. And we're gonna be debuting that soon, very soon. We're working on it. Our merch guy over here.
Fashion.
Fashionista.
Yeah.
So what's the question, man?
Can you please pass me the device that has the question?
The device that has the question. Could have just said phone.
Anyways, why are people stuck in the present cycle of life? Therefore, leaving them frustrated, unmotivated, and crippled.
I would say they're more so stuck, and I would honestly just put it like this. They're more so stuck because of the fact of they like to repeat the same cycle. It's like a routine. It's like when you build a habit, or like when you build like a ritual or like a routine. Like that's how we operate. Like if you think about like how people's lives operate, whether they're rich, poor, there's always a routine, because routines can create structure, and they also create discipline. So if that person is operating in a routine that gives them that result and they're not changing it, they'll always be stuck. Or maybe they have no routine, so they have no guidance, and which is even worse than having a bad routine. Because if you have no routine, there's no structure, there's no foundation, there's no guidance. You have nothing that keeps you in line.
Nothing to grasp as days
So now
go
you're
on.
just all over the place. So I believe if a person was struggling with this, I would say change the routine. Like, because you get motivated by results. Like I put it like this, right? Somebody can go to the gym and they can start off and they be unmotivated, but they're still continuing to go because they're building a routine. Well, that routine is going to build results. So when they start to see progress and they start to see the results that they want, or they start to at least see small results that they would like, they get motivated. So they want to continue to go back again.
That's what I'm doing.
So
Nice.
part of being stuck is due to lack of routine, or is due to a routine that does not provide results. That's where the unmotivated part, that's where the frustration comes in. Because you're doing something constantly that breeds no results. But also, this is where it goes back to delayed gratification, is that just because you don't see results early doesn't mean that you should feel that way. Because sometimes when people don't see results, they stop. When the routine wasn't bad, it was a good one. They just got frustrated because they felt like the work that they was doing was nothing. So you look at it as a repetitive cycle. When it's not a repetitive cycle, you just gotta keep going and fighting until you get the results that you want. So I think there's many, situations and facets that could lead to a person feeling that way. They just have to figure out, are they not getting the results they want, or or do they just need to be more patient and resilient in what they're doing, or could they just not have a routine at all?
Man, that's great. That's a great way to pinpoint it. Well, that's the question I have, and I'm grateful that that's actually straightforward. But that's a great way to pinpoint it. I've seen both spectrums on that, and I've always asked individuals what is their desired, or if they believe in fate, that's their fate, a cycle. But in reality, that's not the case. We are the sum of our choices. I believe that wholeheartedly. Good old God of War.
Well, as we end this episode, we would like to end it with a prayer.
Let's do it.
So, in Jesus' name we pray, Father, as we end this episode today, I just want to come here and pray for all the believers and all the unbelievers out there, just everybody who may be watching this podcast. I pray and just ask that you fill their lives and fill their hearts. I pray that you give them or show them revelations that can help, just build them and give them direction on their path, so that they don't no longer have to feel stuck or feel like they don't know, but they know what to do. I pray and ask that you allow this to touch the people's hearts it's supposed to touch and reach the people it's supposed to reach. I just want to say thank you for allowing me and Stephen to come here today and be able to present this wisdom and this knowledge to your people. We want to say, God, we love you. We thank you and amen.
Amen.
Well, that's the end of episode 9. We love you. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.